So Felix, it's a pleasure today to be with you.
Likewise.
I've had the pleasure of knowing you 7 or 8 years now. You were my mentor early on, and you evolved not only as a colleague, but you became a very good friend of mine, and so it's a pleasure to interview you.
Thank you.
You've been involved in ministry for many years, and the latter part of your ministry, you've been serving as a hospice chaplain, caring for people, and now you've been admitted on hospice. Mm-hmm. How has that impacted you?
Well, it has given me a new perspective, obviously. A major paradigm shift in my life. The tenderness that is shown by my caregivers is palpable. I'm not a person that receives things very well. Most caregivers don't. I mean, they give it, but they have difficulty receiving.
What happened recently to you?
Yes. My dear friend Swan. Swan asked me, have you given any thought to some things that you would like to accomplish that you haven't done? Maybe something on a bucket list type thing? Well, now that you mention it, wouldn't it be nice to take a trip up to Alaska on a cruise, just to see the glaciers and visit parts of Alaska? Swan's response was, well, I have a mission now. And the big surprise came 2 Saturdays ago when Angie called me and told me that everything was set up. It was all taken care of, and that both my daughter and I would be going to Alaska. She would be my companion. Getting ready, I'm packing.
Everybody was ecstatic with the idea of some kind of tangible way that we could express our love to you, so everybody was thrilled.
That was the clincher. That's when I broke out into tears, and even now I get emotional just thinking about it. Yeah. You have no idea how much I appreciate that.
You have a significant other in your life. Maybe share a few words about that.
I do indeed. She's my wonderful wife of going on 66 years. January 31st of next year will be 66 years that we've been married. And she is suffering from Alzheimer's. She's been in dementia now since 2010, and it has progressed from dementia to Alzheimer's. And she has been a wonderful, wonderful wife, a wonderful mother, a wonderful homemaker, and my best friend. And I miss her very much. There are times when she is lucid, doesn't speak very much, but she does recognize me. She recognizes my voice. She recognizes my touch. I thank the Lord that she is still with me.
Well, and here you've been involved in ministry for so long, and particularly later in hospice,
Yes.
Dealing with a lot of difficult, complicated situations, with some suffering from the same thing that she's suffering from. And
yeah, in fact, I diagnosed her when she first had dementia, again, just from experience of having so many demented patients. Of course, as you know, there's nothing that they can do for Alzheimer's except just let it run its course. She has a good caregiver, a very loving, caring person that takes care of her.
But even that's only been recently, right? You've been.
She's been with us for a year. I had been taking care of her and working at the same time, well, part-time, of course. And my son also participated in taking care of her.
Who or what would you say has shaped or impacted your life the most?
My father did at a very early age. We spent 2 years out of the country together, and I learned a great deal from him. Very rarely did he ever say, I love you, but never in my life have I ever doubted that he loved me. He was very moral. He was a dentist. I remember I was a youngster at the time, and Mother was complaining that there were many people that owed him money. This was in the early 40s, and Mother was complaining that many people owed him money. They hadn't paid him for the dental work that he had done. And his response to her was, are we lacking anything? We have everything we need. I know many people did pay, because on certain occasions I remember people coming to his office saying, well, Dr. Colon, thank you very much for trusting me, and I owe you this money. And they paid him. And Dad was a person who, when he gave his word, you could bank on it. And yet Dad was not a religious man. He was raised in the Catholic Church as a youngster, but he was also sent to Catholic school where he was beaten unmercifully by the authorities. That turned him off from religion as a whole. And Mother, she was Catholic also, but in name only. I followed pretty much in the same steps that my dad did. I stayed away from the church until I was much, much older and had my own family. Actually, it came about very simply by getting involved in the YMCA with my sons. And over the years, I used to say to my wife, you know what? I don't think the Lord would ever call me into pastoral ministry. And she says, you're absolutely right. Not with your character, not with the way you treat people. And so I said, well, I get to the point. She says, that's the problem. You get to the point way too fast. 3 months later, we were sitting here in the living room, and I said to Jeanette, I think the Lord is calling me to pastoral ministry. She said, I don't know how to explain myself, but ever since you came back from Y Camp, you're not the same man I married some 20 years ago. And the rest is history. Was called to pastor in Los Angeles, pastored there for 10 years. And then I was called to pastor in Garden Grove, was there for a number of years as well. Then I was still pastoring when I went into hospice ministry.
What might you say would be unique in terms of hospice ministry?
Well, I love hospice ministry. It's the most wonderful thing I have ever done. The only thing that I don't like about it is the paperwork. Just the opportunity to be of comfort to people, to provide companionship in their times of stress, and to give them that peace that passes all human understanding.
Well, Felix, for me, it's a privilege to be sitting here. You've been a mentor, and just pray for God's blessing on you.
I do treasure your friendship, my friend, and my brother.
Amen. Brother Felix, thank you so much.